Well, good day to all of you guys watching this. I hope you're going to enjoy this. The first of its kind, hopefully many more to come. So guys, what I actually want us to talk about is Nadim. Nadim. This guy is a nincompoop. Nincompoop. This guy is a joke of a guy. So I want us to actually listen to this conversation, Mabon. So he's trying to actually say that Sundowns is killing South African football. Kanja. So how is us killing South African football? Whereas, well, let me not get into it. The guys are going to unpack it. And most importantly, I like the description of Bobo. Perfect. Destroys this guy, makes us actually notice and actually, okay, not notice, but actually see that his point doesn't really make sense, right? I'm going to explain to it why it doesn't make sense. So just want us to actually listen to the question and actually get into it, and I'll stop it and explain as it goes.
I think the coach must go. He's not good enough. Must go back. Pizzo must take over. There are a lot of stories I'm hearing around that don't like me. I don't like them, but we'll go back to that a bit later. Now the big question, guys, is Mamelodi Sundowns have signed players like Reyners, Jaden Adams, Apasadin, Tapelo Masego, who we were told at one point in time was turning the GTC. Those players before joining Sundowns, they were already part of the national team setup. Sure, Jalen Adams was part of the last Africa Cup of Nations squad, but he didn't play. But just like Apollos didn't play. So in this squad, Apollos was one of the outstanding players. Is it not killing the national team if Sundowns sign players, then put them on DTC team, then go to South America or Europe? Then they say those players who come from Europe should play. That's the big question. It's very simple and straightforward. I believe Sundowns is highly compromising the national team. I'm tempted to say, actually, what they're doing, their line of business on the verge of trying to be the best team in Africa is compromising Bafana. Because if you look at the players like Jaden Adams, I mean, at one point in time, Kaseo Masho said he's the most talented midfielder in South Africa. If you look at a guy like Tapelo Maseko, exciting with Supersport United under Gavin Hunt, he did so well that Supersport United. At one point in time, he was wanted in Europe. Ended up at Sundowns because suddenly Supersport changed from being a professional football team and became a development of Mamelodi Sundowns. That's why he was promoted to Sundowns. There are players like Kick and Johannes who went to Sundowns. That's the last time. We don't know if they are still playing a clock up or they hang around him beside Pumlong. I don't know. Bobo, what's your take about this subject? Do you think Sundowns is killing Bafana by signing Bafana players due to tough competition? Some of the players obviously don't make the squad. Then it ends up compromising the national team.
Yeah, thanks, Nadim, for your question.
Wait, before Bobo gets into this, let us remember that in the recent games, Keegan Johannes has been playing. Here, I think the last 4 games, if I'm not mistaken, he was in and around the team playing, getting minutes before going to the Afcon. Just have to verify that. But if you've been watching, you can see that this guy has been playing. He's been in the squad in the recent times. Recent history.
Nyako, but into engayisho number one, ukuthi ngiphendule lula. It's a big no with capital letter, according to my understanding, because we must go back to some of the teams like the so-called big teams. Ukuthi before bebekade bazenza lezi zinto zokusayina ama-quality players kumaqembu abo yini na. So if the answer is yes, why if teams like Sundowns, because Sundowns, I think they check strategy sokusayina abadlali. Remember, Chiefs and Pirates, they have already gained advantage of signing abadlali ku transfer window, because if we are playing kuma lower division, everyone wants to play for Chiefs and Pirates, but Sundowns can't mesh ngendlela kumarket i-Chiefs ne-Pirates isebenza ngakhona. So into abayenza ukuthini ukuthi no man, let's use a strategy nathi sase-Europe, let's use i-financial muscle to buy quality players so that sikhona ukurisha lento esiyidingayo see Mamelodi Sundowns, because Mamelodi Sundowns, if you can check, the way planning yabo is to conquer Dr. Patrice Motsepe, is to conquer Africa. Even though they are failing, they keep on trying. But I think ama signing wabo ayakutshela ukuthi iMamelodi Sundowns the way bangakhona. That's why I look at now they managed to play FIFA Club World Cup twice. Logo kukutshelani yini na usho kona ukuthi the more ba participate kuma African competition kubenza ukuthi babe khona kuma rankings walapha ku FIFA Club World Cup. That is why I'm not surprised to see Sundowns ila ikhona, because ngendlela ngibona imanagement Sundowns iyenza ngakhona i-planning yabo kunala bafuna ukufika khona, namanye ama-team ongabheka abazimiselanga or akusi ngendlela bona bafisa ukubona lawo maqembu afika lapho. Remember teams like abo Kaizer Chiefs bake bahlala bangayidlali i-African competition because babona ngathi ayinayo imali. So mina ngiyacabanga ukuthi those players esikhuluma ngabo abasayinwa i-Sundowns, before sibabona baya ku DTC, let's try check ukuthi did Sundowns gave them opportunity to play. Players like Maseko was doing well ku AFL. He did well ku AFL. Uma ungabheka like how unikiwe chance, but he was struggling. And if the player is struggling, you must try also to bring another player ozoyenza ngcono, because uyazi ukuthi wena ufunani. Number 2, abadlali abafana nabo Jaden. When Jaden signed ku Mamelodi Sundowns, akazange ahlale ebenchini. He came straight to the first lineup of Mamelodi Sundowns. So if he's not doing well, a coach unelungelo lokumsideline abheke omunye umdlalo ozomnikeza ama results, because at the end of the day, if the coach i-team ingawini umsebenzi wakhe uba mncane. So ngiyacabanga ukuthi liningi labadlali, even Mashego uyitholile chance ku Mamelodi Sundowns.
True, all of these guys, I don't want to be playing their guys' videos too much, but all of the people that he's mentioned. So he's also going to, go and try and give reasons, like with a guy like, what's this guy's name? I forget this guy's name. Basadine having not playing, even though they've gotten the opportunities. A guy like, what's their name? Mashego, who's just left right now, who was in the national team. And then also mentioning all of the guys who have actually been in the national team and now struggling here at Sundowns. You get me? But I like how they just destroy him, because this guy, he says a whole lot of stuff. And he supports them with just making people hyped up. Né? If you're going to look at the real fact, the real fact is that, okay, Sundowns is buying a lot of players that are quality and they're competing amongst themselves within camp. Competing within camp. So every day you're competing against each other. And so as these players are competing against each other, I'm looking at some of the other videos I uploaded the other day. Yeah? You look at the picture, you see players like that young boy, Sebia. You see a Mudiba. You see Ase Kotiwan. You see a guy like Lunga. And then you're also going to always see a guy like Basadine. Mashego has went all alone. Right? So we've got now 5 left backs. All of them have played in the national teams. The one that just played now with Zimbabwe, the one just played now with Bafana, the one just played now with the under 20s, both of them in fact. And then the one which is the other one that wasn't called up, that I mentioned. But you see all of these Bafana players. Basadine obviously was snapped, but he previously did play for Bafana. That is just in one position. Also mentioned players like Keegan Johannes. They're on the right hand side. You actually see just how he's just been playing recently. But also understanding that the competition is tough. Peladeza Modao, Morena. Also Mdunyel, these players are top quality, all South African quality players. Even Johannes, who just played with the Kosafa team in the recent tournament that they had. So you can understand that we are actually having national team players playing within the same ranks every day, competing against each other. So that's also a standard that we're trying to achieve, as much as Bobo just explained that it is the goal to conquer Africa. It is still a mile, still a stretch to get there, but it is the goal. Hence we've seen participations in the one and only Club World Cup within the recent 10 years, whereas we went with the previous one when we won after 2016 2017 seasons. We went there, and then now again. So we have to look at those kind of stuff, that as much as whatever is happening, the goal is to conquer. We're not killing South African football. I do not agree with that one.
And Starling playing for Bafana before joining Pirates.
No, bage baba na collab. Mara before Orlando Pirates, I don't think they played for Bafana. No. Yeah, Lapo, you're right.
They never played for Bafana before joining Pirates.
Yeah, we are right. But they were promising to play Bafana Umabago Orlando Pirates. Am I wrong?
Okay, let's see Coach KP. Coach KP come in.
Sorry?
Bobo is saying that the three big teams there. Let's go to Coach KP, see the point there.
Look, man, I don't agree with the fact that Mamelodi Sundowns is killing the national team, because we are basing that only on the fact that the players that they are signing. You know, Nadim, I always say an agent and the player have got a choice to join any team that they want. Whether it's $1 million that is coming or whether it's 500, it's your choice to say, yes, I will go to Mamelodi Sundowns to compete.
These people are adults. If somebody's saying that I want to go and compete there because I want to win the league, I want to always be in the Champions League, I want to train with Bafana's finest, I want to compete for every trophy every season, that's the place to be. If you're not being probably in the other squad, which is Orlando Pirates, the rest of the other clubs are just additionaries, right? So we have to agree on that. I know that there are always the other ones in Natureda who will think that, hey, I'm believing in them. But in these recent days, there are only two valid teams, and then the one that was competing, which is Stellenbosch, but now declining. Then Skuni and Chiefs come after that. So the reasons that Coach KB are also valid. So let's continue to listen to it and dissect.
I'll give you a typical example. You are a youngster like Jaden Adams. You are saying, I'm going to go to Mamelodi Sundowns. You are being bought in as a what? As a 10, as an 8, or as a 6. Jaden Adams can play either of those positions. But who are they already playing? You have Temba Mshishi Zwane, whom when they bought Jaden Adams, Zwane was injured. So maybe that gave him that thing that I will play. And then you have Tebza Mrembola, whom you and I and anyone in South Africa can agree that he's one of the best midfielders we have in South Africa. And then you have your Cellular Maicellular or Alend. Already that three, they put you on your second option. Already you are joining a team knowing very well that you're a second option. But because you hear everyone when they're being asked, they'll tell you I want to win a league. So maybe some of these players, Nadim, they join Sundowns because Sundowns has been dominating and they want to be part of, I've won a Bedway Premiership. So I think it's unfair to say Mamelodi Sundowns is killing South African football. I think what is killing South African football is not having majority of South African teams competing in CAF Champions League. Because if we were to have 3 or 4 teams competing season in, season out in CAF Champions League, like I'll give you a typical example. You just touched on Bafana. The Bafana that went 3rd place with majority of Mamelodi Sundowns players. If you look at those players, they've been playing Champions League season after season, season after season. So they were there. And then you come up, you have an Orlando Pirates that went to the semi-final. But this season they can't make it to that same Champions League. So there's a bit of I think some of the teams are not ambitious enough, like Mamelodi Sundowns, which I feel that's what is killing South Africa. I mean, Nadim, between you and I, if Chiefs was competing in Champions League, if Pirates is in Champions League, Sundowns is in Champions League, then we wouldn't be complaining about Africa's experience, because we've got our big teams going there. They don't have to go to the semi-final, but go maybe up until last 8. If they were competing season in, season out, I think we would have a better national team. So right now it's unfair because we are only looking based on Sundowns players. Yes, I'll agree with you when you say there are certain players that are being at Sundowns. They came in there already as national team players. Again, Obasadi, he was a national team player, but he had an option. Rumor has it that Chiefs wanted him, Pirates wanted him. He opted for Sundowns. Sundowns maybe went with the big money, but he still had a contract. He could have said, no, I'm not going to Sundowns. There's no team that will force you to go there, but he chose to go to Sundowns. So I feel we need to be honest. You spoke about Johannes, whom he came in. I'm asking myself, between you and I, Nadim, and I just want a straight answer. Johannes came in at Mamelodi Sundowns as what? As a right back. If he's coming as a right back, who is he going to replace? None of those right back there. And unless I don't know what the coach is there. So meaning he's there to say, okay, I'll be there, I'll learn. Maybe after 2 seasons I'll get a chance. So I don't agree with the fact that Sundowns is killing the national team. What is killing the national team currently is the fact that the other big 2 teams, like Bobo said, the big 3 teams need to consistently be playing in CAF Champions League. That way, we'll have a competitive national team. I think the Hugo Bruce will also have a pool of players, knowing very well they are playing, they are competing at the highest level as they can in Africa. I think that is what is killing South Africa currently.
Aren't those points, Coach KB, valid? Because if we having an Nyankampum Kaizer Chiefs that is not competing season in, season out, they're buying players that lack quality, and then they're not even also buying players that gel, not even bringing coaches that play proper football, not actually building a solid foundation and then building on it consistently over the years so it continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger. It's their own fault. If we have an Orlando Pirates that is sometimes hot and then sometimes timid and then sometimes so-so, that is also a problem, because look at this season, like explained. Last season, went to the semi-finals, CAF Champions League. This season, didn't even make it to the group stages. Now, where are these players going to get that experience of now again this season? Again playing with those players of Al Ahly, MC Alger, and then all of these top teams around the continent, Into Belize, that, and all of these players, you can name them. Abo Pyramid, Abon, Zamalek. These Chiefs will be playing them in the other league, in the confederations. Ne? But we also want consistent. And also, like, young irritated. Why must it only be 2 teams going to the Champions League? Why can't we have 3, 4 teams going from the top leagues, Egyptian League, South African League, whatever other 4 or 3 leagues around the continent? Maybe get 3, 4 teams from the other countries, because that should now also add more teams into it. Or then also add more tournaments, continental tournaments, give these players opportunities to always be traveling, playing, even if a team has finished position 6 in a league. Let them be able to win a continental competition. Go and play. Our conference league, whatever. Go and play. Travel. Play with other nations, so that there can be a consistent continental playing within Africa, so that now we can expand and make our leagues interesting and try to keep more of our quality players, with funds also coming in slowly but surely. I actually want to go and conclude this with the last dying statement, and then I just didn't timestamp this, but I see share matota.
Only go African football, even here go Betway. Those three teams must compete. That is why I'm saying if Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns come to the party, it's easy for a head coach of Bafana to make a selection because of labadlala bayabadlala kulama team. We understand. Asikhulumi ngama-team mhlawumbe amancane and also go uyobheka kulama-team amancane and abroad then uba ne-team strong, we understand. So mina ngibhekile nala ekhaya amanye ama-team kumele abuye azojoyina kube ne-competition strong so that kuzoba lula for i-selection. I know ukuthi ku-social media kuzolwiwa ucoach uzoyenza ama-selection because of the pressure azoyithola social media because thina I know ukuthi sinjalo la ekhaya social media is too much kakhulu. That is why sihyper nabadlali ukuthi ucoach ayenze selection because I love lo mdlalo loyo. If ngithanda uLibusa, I'm gonna hype uLibusa to say coach must select uLibusa. Libusa is doing well and uyibheke nalento even nabantu ngifuna ukuyisho nje kahle nabantu abakhona aba-podcast ama-game wethu banayo lento yokuthi they can give you slow motion somdlalo ebamfunayo ukuthi bafuna umbone kahle ukuthi lo mdlali lo angayodlala ku-national team. Hamba uyobheka nje uma ubukela igame uzobheka amanye ama-slow motion ukuthi ay-useless Nadim. Uyabona ukuthi umuntu ufaka ishibobo asisabukeli negoli elizongena ngapha ne-build up asisayiboni baloko bakubonisa lo mdlali ukuthi uze ubone noma ungabonanga kahle ukuthi the day benza i-selection now uzosho ukuthi mara umdlali so why bangamthathanga, why umdlali so bamthethe ku-national team. So kuningi okwenzakalayo kule football la khona uthi uyabheka sibaningi sifaka isandla ukuthi ucoach agcina yenza ama-selection nalawa sibona ukuthi ama-selection look at now uyambona Sibilibili was playing kumarumo Gallants. I mean ku-TS Galaxy. But angikhumbula bizwa uSibilibili. But ufikile wadlala 3 games wenza into umehluko omkhulu wawenza ku-Orlando Pirates and he was selected. Look at
So what you are saying is the Pirates.
No. Ungangifaki amagama emlonyeni. I'm trying to say those 3 teams kulula to play kuBafana if uzodlalela ama-team afana nalawo. To be honest with you, uma uzodlala ku the P3 it's easy for you ukuthi ungadlala kuBafana but uma ngabe uyodlala kulama team amancane like now if umdlalo ofana nobani nginike example uyambona uNdlovu jersey number 8 we Golden Arrows, that guy if he can sign what a player, that guy if he can sign one of the biggest team yala South Africa uzoyithola i-call up kuBafana but now angeke ayithole.
Boy, it's all about association. Where are you associated? Look at that good example. Sebelebe, as much as Lutana, he has topped a little bit. It's not seen even in the Orlando Pirates squad. But once you get the opportunity to actually be in the big teams, it's easy for you to be in the squad. Hence, you just need Kaizer Chiefs to perform. Once they perform consistently, you're going to see about 3-4 players be selected from them when they go back to the Kaizer Chiefs that we all know it should be. We don't know if it's going to be, but the one that we all know that it should be. So it's all about performances, and then association as well. So it's also give it time because you've hardly had players that Madala likes a lot coming from the other teams aside from that, like Nico Mobi. We always saw that guy for many ages, just now that he's disappearing. The guy that he had now, Sitole, we know we got those Flews and over that he used to that he used to play there in the middle. We having now the guys from Dudley that now we don't see ever since he went on injury. We'll see what happens once he gets back from injury, because that is the guy that I know is actually a big favorite of Hugo Boss. So we have to assess a lot of these things as they're happening. But I have a lot of trust that our coaches will continue to bring out the best of the players that they have, so that we do not have and also teams pull up their socks and want to compete, because we cannot have narratives like this where people are saying that Sundowns is killing the league because we're getting the best of the best. So we must now not go and get the best of the best because other people do not actually want to raise up their socks. Something to think about. So things at the moment are not the same. I'm a level, our fan. You can't compare the teams. Because if you're going to make an example, go and look at teams like they're in the EPL, for example. Yeah? If you're going to go to EPL, you're going to find that season in, season out, you'll have the 3 or 4 basic teams that are always there competing, right? Like your Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and then what's the other one? Yeah, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City. Yeah, Man City. Those are the 4. But once in a while, you see a team like a Nottingham Forest doing very good and actually going as far as number 2, 3, whatever those positions up until they drop. You'll also see teams like Aston Villa right now that are doing and even destroying these teams, not just beating them by a basic way, like destroying them. So actually going head on head and playing draws with them. So we have to actually look at these things. Why are we not being able to keep quality in most of our teams? Why are we not able to have proper projects? Why are we firing coaches left, right, and center? What are the actual plans that the team is in now? What is the plan, the future plans of the team? Because you can't continue having teams that are struggling like this. What is the investment plans for each team? What is the plans to get ourselves proper stadiums or stadium of our own that we can train and actually play at? Always using government and municipality stadiums. So we got a lot to catch up on and fix in this country. We can't be blaming Mamelodi Sundowns at all. We have to blame teams at some of the decisions that players make. Why are all players agreeing to go to Mamelodi Sundowns? Why are they not saying there? There's already 2 players that are playing there. I would rather go and play the cheaper. I would rather go and play the Amazon. And I would rather go and play the Orbit and not at the Mamelodi Sundowns. Then not compete for the league. So it's a tough decision that players have to make, but you can't blame Mamelodi Sundowns. They're in business to win. They're playing players good. And if they're also changing players' lives, so be it. Mazisha Baba. Guys, please do like, share, subscribe, and see you on the next one. Abash.